This guy over here is my business partner and I freaking hate him. We built a $2.7 million marketing agency together. Apologies, I'm just setting up over here. So we built this agency together and it was freaking hell, okay? We were both continuously doing whatever the hell we thought was best, going against each other's will, talking crap behind each other's backs, holding in resentment, all ultimately because we didn't trust each other. And the reason we didn't trust each other was actually, in hindsight, very, very simple. It was a lack of communication. And if you're watching this video right now and you have a business partner and you have some sort of an online business or whatever you have, I want to explain to you why communication, as cliche as it sounds, is hands down the number one thing that set me free from bad business partnerships. And today, not only am I partnered with him in multiple businesses, he's one of my best friends and we've traveled the world together. This photo that I showed you earlier on was taken of us in one of the forests in Colombia. You know, we've been to Mexico together. We've traveled to many, many places together, to islands together. We've been to Nicaragua together. And I love him. I really, really love him. And the way that I got over here was through communication, okay? And hear me out here for a second, right? What is communication really in my eyes? Communication is the art of me being able to not just take what's in my mind and then articulate it over to him. It's to be able to see the context of what it is that I'm thinking of in my mind and then explain that. Let me give you an example. Situation one, which is the worst, would be me basically resenting him inside and thinking, okay, like, you're an asshole. And then I'm thinking it in my mind, you're an asshole, you're an asshole. Me not sharing that is probably the worst thing. What would be slightly better than that would be is if I just say to him, you're an asshole. But that still isn't helpful because even though I'm communicating, I'm not really communicating what's there for me. And oftentimes what was there for me was, I'm angry that you are making decisions without taking me into account that affect my livelihood and affect the vision of the business that I want. And so I feel unimportant when you do these things. And therefore I think you're an asshole. Do you see what I'm saying over here? Having the self-awareness to be able to know exactly what it is that I was thinking and feeling and why I was thinking and feeling that was the turnkey thing in improving my communication with my business partner. And it's when I started being able to see that within myself, we were able to create a value within the company, not just between ourselves, but within the company of radical honesty. What does radical honesty mean as a value? It means that we don't see each other as small anymore. We don't see each other as individuals that can't take it. And so I've got to coddle you and make sure that I say the right thing at the right time and hold myself back and sugarcoat myself so that you ultimately don't take it the wrong way and then feel hurt. Do you see how much walking on eggshells that happens? And it used to happen in my business as well. But when I committed to radical honesty, hinging on the fact that I could really monitor my own internal dialogue before I said what I said, it was virtually impossible that any of the communication got taken as anything other than respectful, beneficial, positive, and constructive. Radical honesty doesn't mean just blurting out whatever comes into my mouth. It means being very methodical on what I say and how I say it and having the undertone of respect and love when I give that fire over to my partner. And I receive that back as well. There's been many a times where my business partner has said things so direct to me that I don't think anyone would ever have the audacity to say, that I've benefited from so greatly. And that's one of the double-edged swords and really Achilles heels of being an entrepreneur, is that we don't have a lot of people in our lives that will tell us the absolute truth, like the true feedback that we need. Our wives, we brush them off because it's like they're not entrepreneurs, they're not making this kind of money, they don't know what we're talking about, they haven't walked a freaking mile in my shoes, so screw that. Employees, I'm paying you, you're on my payroll, so that you don't understand what it is that I'm going through, so they don't even want to say anything half the times. They definitely don't want to rock the boat. Our parents, don't understand us. Siblings don't understand us. Our friends we grew up with don't understand us. So we've constructed this bubble. I know that I constructed this bubble around myself where I was just basically entitled. I was entitled to the views that I had. I was entitled to everything. And so naturally, when I got into a business partnership as this entrepreneur that, is self-sufficient and independent, when I had a partner that was stepping on my toes, it really freaking triggered me. It triggered me so badly. And it still triggers me, right? It still triggers me that it's like I have the thoughts that go through my mind. Like, I could just cut you out. I don't freaking need you. Like, I can do this myself. And yeah, it's probably true, but why did I get into partnership in the first place? Is because if I want to, go far, then I can go alone. But if I want to go even further, I'll go in a group. And so that's the benefit of business partnership. And so if you're watching this right now, that's probably why you got into partnership as well, is because you likely see something in your partner and how he or she brings something to the table that you can't quite bring on your own. And so as the collective, the 1 + 1 = 3 effect, right, where it's more than just two individuals, right? It compounds. And so communication is very, very, very crucial. And so one thing that my business partner and I did really, really well in order to facilitate better communication was the use of ownership language. Okay, so what is ownership language? Ownership language is when I'm able to own my experience in the world with what I would call ownership language, which does not involve the word you. It involves the word I. I feel upset right now. I am angry right now. How I experience this situation just happened. How I experience it is that I'm not valued for my inputs and that I'm a less important partner in this business. That is I ownership language. And Tony Robbins talks about doing a method, it's called the SEW, S-E-W, which is just basically expressing the sensations, the S in SEW, sensations in your body that I'm feeling, I feel tense inside my stomach, my heart feels heavy. The E in SEW stands for emotion, again, like I'm feeling angry, I'm feeling sad, and it's like core emotions, not I'm feeling confused or I'm feeling lost. That's not an emotion. A core emotion is apathy, grief, fear, anger, self-righteous, etc. And then the W is really what we want, right? What we want. So what I want is to feel more connected to you. What I want is fairness in the business. What I want is for our business to grow. What I want is for there to be better communication. It's expressing what you want. And guess what? With this sort of a structure of a SEW, a SEW, or using ownership language, your facts, your statements become not very arguable. If I'm saying I'm angry, there's not much that can be argued about that. It's just a fact. I'm angry. Not much can be argued about that I'm feeling tightness in my chest. Not much can be argued about the fact that I want us to be closer and that I want our business to do better. But what is arguable is that you disrespected me when you spoke over me during that meeting. Well, that's very arguable. Instead, it would be, I have a pit in my stomach, I feel sad, and what I want is for us to collaborate in meetings whenever we are together. What I want is to raise each other and to be like this yin-yang and to be this complementary group of individuals when we're out there negotiating a deal. That's what I want. Do you see the difference over there? And that is your responsibility. That's my responsibility as a business partner, as a business owner, and even as a husband, as a father, right? I mean, there's so many times where the nuance of even saying to our kids that, hey, you're being naughty, or no, or why are you being difficult? This is very negative language that we're putting into their minds, and that we're creating this separation between us and them. And it's more like, hey, instead of saying, no, don't put that in your mouth, say, hey, that stays out of your mouth and only food goes inside your mouth. There's a very big difference over there, right? The one is negative, the one is just factual. You know, on the other hand as well, instead of saying like, you're being so difficult, it's like, hey, I'm noticing that something's happening for you right now. You're feeling a little bit sad, or you're feeling a little bit uneasy. What is it? Do you just want to get some energy out? Do you just want to play right now? What's holding you back from wanting to eat right now? I mean, this is very powerful communication. And if you've ever in your agency done sales, you already know this. And so we're so careful on how we communicate with prospects because, you know, we're transactional. We want to get the sale from them, but we don't communicate this way with our own business partners. Because maybe we feel entitled. Maybe we feel like we're entitled to being understood and seen without having to put in the effort. Because we think we're special somehow. And we're not. We're just human. Your partner's also a human. Your employees are human. Your wife is a human. Your parents, your siblings, they're all human. And it's on us to take the ownership to be able to communicate in a better fashion. And so if you can take anything away from this is ownership language. I feel angry. I feel sad. I think this way. This is how this is occurring for me, for I. And the other thing is that if you don't have something constructive and something good to say in the moment, just downcycle yourself by taking a moment, journaling, going for a walk, and then conduct yourself in a more respectful manner, because, you know, business partnerships and all relationships, even your marriage, now this is for me, these are some of the most valuable things, and I greatly regret the times where I just blurt out the first thing that comes to my mind with my wife, with my business partners, with anyone else in my life. And so I'm very methodical these days on how I actually choose to conduct myself. And if I don't have the capacity to really be stable and to hold space for myself, to be grounded enough to say something in a way that isn't going to just be an attack and an emotional dump, then I will not say it. I would rather wait and schedule a time to have the conversation instead. So I hope you enjoyed this. If this was beneficial, please leave a comment. I'll see you in the comment section. Peace.